What is going on, everyone? And welcome to the Sports Talk on Tap podcast. We're here. You can find daily videos Monday through Friday covering all the major sports leagues, NFL, NHL, NBA, MLB, you name it, whether it be games or tier lists, just ranking stuff. And that's what we're going to be doing in today's episode. I'm Jake, that's Nick. And in today's NFL episode, obviously, most of teams' rosters are set. There aren't too many high-profile free agents remaining. And so with that being said, it's kind of, we give a quick look now as we're middle of the way through June. How does each position group stack up? We've done quarterback before. We've done, I believe, wide receivers before, wide receiver rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's time we do running backs to finish off or mostly besides the offensive line side of the ball. And this is going to be interesting, obviously, the way we do our tier list. S tier is, reserved for one or the very best right back room. Nick, otherwise, I think this is going to be a good list. Hope we might agree, disagree on some things, but it should be exciting.
Yeah, I think there's not many, I don't want to say stacked, but it's usually just one running back. The good teams just have one really good running back. It used to be,
Yeah.
I would say 2 or 3 years ago, I would have put Cleveland at S just because they had Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
I don't think, is Kareem Hunt there still? I don't think
either that. He had a really bad year last year, ineffective.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if he but Nick Chubb is obviously still there. We'll see though. Yeah, teams are becoming a lot more. It's not like that typical power back. But we'll see. That's kind of some teams do a running back by committee. And obviously, for the first team, for example, the Buffalo Bills. They obviously have James Cook, who took a huge leap last year in his second year. Yeah. And then I feel like we have to include Josh Allen in here. He makes that running game go sometimes when he needs to.
So are we gonna include the quarterbacks into this as well?
I think we should, because when you take a look at Lamar Jackson,
right,
he's what makes the Ravens probably arguably S. Josh Allen just has that ability, to do the power runs or just, fall forward for 4 yards when, plays are lost to help just keep the game in the ground game going. I would put Buffalo's running game just of how James Cook looked last year with Josh Allen's ability, low A or high B. I don't know. Where do you?
I don't know if high. I would have said probably B, but if you want to go A, we can. Just
I was thinking high B plus ish, low A minus. We can. Whatever we don't like. When we do more teams, we kind of move teams up and teams down. Next team, Dolphins. Raheem Mostert, 17 touchdowns last year. Devon Achane, when healthy, was averaging 7.5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Those two alone, partially with this scheme, is what makes them so good. This is a team that I think's A and is ahead of the Bills.
Yeah, I would have put them more so A than Buffalo, but we can adjust. We can always adjust.
Yeah. So the Patriots, your team, assuming Jacoby's the starter, which I think
we're not going to look at running. They don't have running quarterbacks unless Drake May plays, and he'll just be running for his life, not
They still have, I believe, what is it, Ramondre Stevenson?
Yeah, he's a pretty solid running back, but he's all they
decent.
have. That's why I'd put them at C if I were to rank them.
That fits with me. C.
They just signed Antonio Gibson, but that's not ground.
He had so much potential a couple of years ago, man. Everyone was really high on him. Next team, Jets. A lot of people are loving that Breece Hall pack going in the next season, and I think he's really good. But after that, the depth kind of, gets to me a little. I'd go B.
Yeah. If you have a solid running back, that's always going to make your just your run game top half. If you're the Patriots where you have a middle of the pack running back, that's it.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of other teams that just don't have a running back.
Yeah. Well, we'll come approach those as they come. I don't know, Nick, if we already want to do it, but the Ravens have been obviously top 3 in running. It feels like every year, partially due to how good Lamar Jackson is. Now they signed King Henry. And then they always just, kind of fill out guys. We've seen Justice Hill have breakout games. Gus Edwards, even though left, and he was, filling starter void. It felt like he was getting great fantasy points when I had him. So maybe it's just partially the system, partially Derrick Henry just going there and Lamar Jackson being one of the best runners in the league. This is just still the best rushing attack and running group, no matter who they trot out there. And obviously, I love King Henry still, and I don't think he'll have that workload that the Titans obviously gave him. So I don't know if we want to do it already, but I'm down for at least high A. If not, this is my S tier team.
For me, it would either be the Ravens or the Eagles for S tier. So if we want to go the Ravens, just because
I would have done Eagles if they didn't lose Jason Kelce. I still think that's
like the biggest thing, because the Ravens have a really good scheme. I feel like the
Eagles,
Eagles,
that's it, because they're always
the Eagles scheme relies on their players. Like it would not work if Jalen Hurts wasn't quarterback in that team.
Yeah,
just
and
how strong
pressing like 700 pounds.
Right. So yeah, we can put Ravens. Should we just put the Eagles at A then?
Yeah, we'll put Eagles high A because obviously that offensive line is still going to be really good. Jalen Hurts is mobile. They just got players, obviously Saquon. I like them high A. Next team though, Bengals. Lost Joe Mixon. I believe Samaje Perine stepping into that.
That's at most C. This is like one of those teams I was talking about where
I did like him though when he did play, so I kind of want to give them the respect and put him like low C at least. Not sure because it always doesn't translate. We've seen when good backups go full-time stars and kind of tank. I'll go low C for now though, but we can always adjust if it moves down.
Just when I think of like there's certain teams in the NFL that I just think aren't going to rely on running the football. That's going to be like the Bengals. I think the Chiefs are lower half. There's a few teams.
Even with Pacheco.
I mean, Pacheco's good, so he'd probably bring them to like a B maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I like Pacheco. All right. Next team, the Dog Pound, the Cleveland Browns. One healthy though. They still got Nick Chubb, one of the best in the game. That offensive line just knows how to run block. And they're going to need to run the ball because Deshaun Watson can't pass for shit. So I'd go at least high B. Maybe there's a question mark with Nick Chubb coming back from injury, but I'm assuming, playing most of his capabilities, I still like Cleveland's running game 100%.
Ooh. So if we put them high B, I feel like they have a better running game than Buffalo, don't they?
Depends on how you look at it, because I mean, it may just be like recency bias, but those last 9 games, Buffalo was just winning the game. They were feeding James Cook. It felt like, and just I don't know, because obviously Nick Chubb is still better than James Cook, but it's also like the balance because just Josh Allen always gets even it's the little things like running for his life and then getting like those 5-yard runs or just design runs for him that he breaks through for a good amount of the time. I feel like it forms like a high balance attack.
We can come back to it later, but I think right now I'm leaning towards swapping the Browns and the Bills, but we can come back later and compare to like the rest of the list.
Yeah. Next team, the Steelers. Najee Harris wasn't was better last year than the year before, and then Jalen, I believe it's Jalen Warren. Mm-hmm. He looked really good at the end of last year. So when you got these, I would go low B.
I would have said like right above the Patriots, just because I still don't get scared by the Steelers running game. Maybe that's just me, but like I know like just Najee Harris hasn't panned out to be that insanely athletic like running back from Bama that he was, and that's just because of the NFL, and he's such a big dude. But I don't know.
Yeah, although people do that genes thing. Like he was better last year than people give credit for. He averaged 4 yards a carry first time in his career over, even though that's not saying everything. Still at 8 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards, and then Jalen Warren looked really good. So I mean, they are better than the Patriots.
Because Matt Canada was so bad.
Yeah, we'll see though. I mean, we can always come back to it. Next team. The Houston Texans, they signed Joe Mixon, who is still, I think, going to be good. Obviously, isn't going to be the same guy. He's one of those guys that kind of reminded me of a Dalvin Cook from 2 years ago. Had like the box numbers, but didn't quite, have like the EPA, per rush expected, like, efficiency, like, he didn't have like the analytics to back up his actual performance. But I still think he'll be solid. I would go like a high C because I have some question marks after that depth.
High
We lost
C, you're saying?
Singletary. Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, they have Damian Pierce still, who broke out his rookie year. You're not saying low B. You're saying high C?
Then he took a step back last year. So I have some question marks about him because Devin Singletary basically took the full-time role over him.
Yeah. I mean, was he dealing with injuries? I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't know. I mean,
I'll give you a high C. I'll give you a high C.
We could go low B, but I like the Steelers combo better for now. But we could put them low B if we think they're still B minus.
Okay.
Next team, Indianapolis Colts. Jonathan Taylor, obviously still there.
Zach Moss, is he their RB2? No?
Oh, that's the other guy we forgot. I think Zach Moss went to the Bengals.
Did he? Man,
yeah.
I've been so out of it with the NFL recently.
Yeah, so I still like Jonathan Taylor, and I think Anthony Richardson is going to be, a good scrambler. Mm-hmm. I'd go like middle of the pack B on this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they're better than the Steelers.
Yeah, because I do like Zach Moss. That was just me sputtering on him. I would move the Bengals up some, maybe like high C. I'd put them over the Patriots and probably the Texans with Zach Moss.
Ooh, you're a big Zach Moss fan. See, I'm a Joe Mixon guy. Obviously he's done off the field stuff that we won't talk about, but when it comes to his on the field play, I'll just say I always try and get him in fantasy as like my running back too, because he'll always give me solid numbers. So I'll say
this is a fantasy draft, might be different, but with that being said, next team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the new paid man, Trevor Lawrence. ETN, very solid running back. Still like, around the top 10. But after that, kind of goes nowhere for me. Trevor Lawrence can scramble if you need it, but you have ETN. So I'd go like a solid, like low B here. I don't think it's like anything crazy. ETN's still good, but
see, I think ETN brings them up, but how about?
It's just one.
I think they got better run game.
I honestly think he's a bit overrated.
Whoa, and you're a Trevor Lawrence guy.
Yeah, but ETN, I don't know. He's good, but people, try and put him in talks that he doesn't belong in. He makes them like a B. So they're solid, nothing great. Next team, the Tennessee Titans. Losing King Henry, what do? They signed Tony Pollard. Kind of a dual threat, decent. Didn't kind of disappoint as his full-time starter. Kind of one of those guys that I've talked about where was a really great, arguably the best backup in the league, then became full-time starter and kind of took a little bit of a step back, but I still think he's good. But after that, the depth obviously is kind of, nowhere to be found. So I'd go high C here or around there, C.
Yeah, I'll say C. Man, we haven't had any like bottom of the barrel teams yet.
Not yet. Although we come to the Denver Broncos and the Broncos are always good for a bottom tier.
Yeah, I was gonna say you love hating on the Broncos, but I can't lie, I do too.
I mean, who is their RB1 going into next year?
Is it Williams?
Javonte Williams still?
Yeah. Oh no,
okay.
they have Samaje Perine, dude. They don't. The Bengals don't have him.
Oh, so Perine went there.
Yes.
All right.
I was trying to think that.
So yeah, I've gotten lost in the running backs, but still, I still like Zach Moss, so I put them B or C. Sorry. That doesn't. So they have Samaje Perine and
Javonte Williams is good when healthy. Or
Yeah, that's been the biggest issue with him. Health. This is probably arguably one of the better Broncos like groups. I don't know if we want to go like C here. Like, where are you thinking?
I'd say they're ahead of the Titans.
Yeah,
they're ahead of these.
Yeah,
I don't like the
fair
Texans
enough.
group. I don't like the Texans there.
Really?
Yeah, I think they deserve to be a little higher.
Nick, I would take a look at the analytics, man. Joe Mixon wasn't that good last year.
Hey, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. If they're bad this year, then I'll tip my cap, say you were right.
Because people were telling me this story last year. They're like, the Vikings lost Dalvin Cook, and I was like, Dalvin Cook is not good anymore. I don't care that he had 1,000 yards. He's going to regress, and I don't think Joe Mixon will regress to where Dalvin Cook is out of the league 1 year later. But I mean, let's give it let's see. The EPA didn't like Mixon's game last year. With that being said, though, next team, the Chiefs. I still like Pacheco, very hard runner, solid runner. Was kind of bailing them out in some regular season games, like the one against Zach Wilson and the Jets on Sunday night. He's just a hard runner. And Mahomes obviously can scramble for a first down whenever you need it. I'll go solid B. They're around the ETN range, where I like them.
What do you think? I was gonna say like here.
Yeah, around ETN.
Brees Hall is better than
Brees Hall. Yeah, Brees Hall probably better. Yeah, around there. Next, the Raiders. They lost Josh Jacobs. Just a lot of question marks with this offense heading into the season, and I think running back is one of them. This may be our first D tier.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just taking a quick look at the roster right now, and their starter is probably going to be Zamir White, and they have your guy Alexander Mattison.
Who was honestly really bad last year. One of those guys that we talked about. Great backup, was not good starter. So yeah, I'm going D tier for the Raiders. Only fair. Chargers.
There's only one reason I don't want to put the Raiders D, and they're coming up. Or I mean F.
Okay. Yeah. Chargers now. Eckler is gone, even though he was kind of not that great last year.
Mm-hmm.
They brought in Gus Edwards, who obviously was a scheme that made him succeed with the Ravens, or is he still like a good running back? I mean, I still think he's decent. I don't know who else they have in that backfield. J.K. Dobbins. So they're kind of piling up on a lot of injured. J.K. Dobbins is always injured. For me, this is probably like low C, because I think the offensive line with Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater will help them out a little bit. But I'd go like low C, and just the Jim Harbaugh scheme. I know he wants to run the ball, and I feel like they'll be able to do a decent job. So I kind of want to give them the respect, but based off names, I'd have them probably like D. I don't know.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, C's probably right. I want to say, like, just looking, if the roster remains healthy, that's always a big thing. Then I think they could be higher.
I can't put J.K. Dobbins healthy. Like, he's never healthy. So I'd go like Gus Edwards, 17 games. So that's how I look at it. Yeah, I'd put them around middle of the pack, C to low C.
Okay.
Like, I would still preferably have like Ramondre Stevenson or Joe Mixon still over them, but we're in the same ballpark with them.
Okay, we might be looking at another
Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys brought back Zeke for them boys, lost Tony, but I mean, Nick, you saw Zeke fully last year in Patriots, heading back to Dallas.
He's our leading receiver last year.
Yeah. I think the offensive, I want to put them D, but the offensive line alone, I feel like gives them some room to where they're always like middle of the pack, at least running the ball, led by Zach Martin, arguably the best guard in the NFL. So it might just be partially scheme. But I mean, yeah, you could argue just the name of Zeke alone, just D if he's going to be your running back one heading into next year. I can see it. If it was my list, I'd probably put them low C, high B, however you want to do it. But I'm cool with it.
I think they have to be down here. If you look at their run, I don't know if you're looking at it right now, but if you're looking at that running back room, it is ugly. Like you look at the names, and the starter is going to be Zeke probably, and the second best guy might be Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we'll see though. I'm giving more credit to the Cowboys O line more so than the actual running backs because they
always have a really good O line. They know how to build an O line. So I'll give.
And the running backs kind of are very dependent on the O line, so that's kind of why I would have gone maybe C-, but if we want to do D, that's fine. Giants, they lost Saquon.
This is who I wanted to put in F.
Who's their running back one heading into the season?
Let me double check, just so I don't look super dumb, because I know I've made myself look dumb. They did sign Devin Singletary. That's going to be their running back one. Everybody else is.
I would go D then, because I gotta respect Devin. He beat out Damian Pierce. And he's okay. I mean, but the Giants O-line also sucks. So that's going to be something that we'll find out. Next team, though, Commanders.
Brian Robinson's probably going to be their starter, right? They got Austin Eckler, too.
Austin Eckler, I mean, I don't know how to feel really down here. Another age on his tires. Brian Robinson. I mean, what are we thinking here? Like low C?
I would say like just ahead of the Patriots, just because Brian Robinson would be the Patriots running back one. That's the only reason I say.
All right, low C. Cool. Next team, the Bears. I think so. They lost. Or they gained DeAndre Swift. And I think he'll be the running back one.
Yeah, he probably will be. Their RB2 is probably Khalil Herbert.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's solid. Although I would say DeAndre Swift is kind of a bit overrated. His vision really is below average. And he'll have games where, he'll give you 100. I mean, the 150-yard games, the Eagles' offensive line wasn't letting him get touched until 8 yards after contact. And then, just his vision is a question mark. DeAndre Swift for a running back for me is like maybe like high C+. But he's not great. The yards, you can look at them, but that was a huge credit mostly to the Eagles' offensive line. And there's a reason why, the Eagles didn't re-sign him, and there's a reason why the Lions traded him. So I would go like C+ because I like Khalil Herbert as a running back too.
I agree.
Next team, Lions. Boy, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is due in for like a huge step next year. And just alone, the Detroit Lions have the best offensive line in the NFL. They have David Montgomery, who was 1,000 yards, great red zone rusher. I love this. Just that dynamic of those two. I'd go low A.
Okay. Are we including offensive line in this too?
What do you mean?
Like are we just doing the running backs themselves or like the running game?
Well, I mean, I feel like you have it's just Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. What we've seen from them, they're going to benefit from having that offensive line, and they always are going to be pushed up from them. And just alone, whether it just be because we saw with Zeke when he had the best offensive line in the league, he was the best running back in the NFL. So I think it's something you have to take into account. That's why Devin Singletary, alone, it's kind of a little bit of projection, was really good on the Texans or solid on the Texans last year, but he's going to the Giants offensive line. So how good do we think Devin Singletary in that running game will be? It's the running game, and the offensive line, plays a part in that. But the Detroit Lions, I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are just two really solid RB1s.
Okay.
Next team, Green Bay. Let go of Aaron Jones. Signed Josh Jacobs.
You still have A.J. Dillon too, right?
Yeah, AJ Dillon though had his worst year last year.
They drafted this Marshawn Lloyd kid from USC. I like him.
We
I
could
think
go low B minus. I feel like they
Yeah.
fit around there. It's just AJ Dillon for whatever reason really sucked last year. Don't know what it was. But yeah, we'll see. Vikings, I think they let Alexander Madison walk, and now their RB1 will be Aaron Jones, who's solid, and then Ty Chandler will be their backup. I think they'll be solid because Aaron Jones, is always going to perform, especially for whatever reason. Aaron Jones always gets hot late in the year it seemed like always for the Packers and was a huge part of their playoff push. So I like Aaron Jones, and I think they'll be all right. I think they'll be kind of, high C, low B. They're going to be around there.
I'll go high C, yeah. I don't mind their running back room. I'm looking at it right now. So
yeah, I think Ty Chandler is going to take a good step. And if he does, then this could be, a high B team if he does do that. Next team, I'm really high on Bijan. I think he'll be properly used finally. Tyler Algier is all right. But Bijan is obviously that RB1. And I think, he was great alone rookie season. I think the scheme alone will just help benefit him this year, heading into year 2. I'd go around slightly above the ETN Brees Hall because I think Bijan's just better than those guys.
There was a lot of Algier fans last year. I remember. I don't know why.
Because I was high on him. I would say because the way this is going, I wouldn't say we need to move Buffalo down, but I'd say we move Cleveland up.
You don't want to swap them? I feel like they should swap still.
I don't know why though, because Buffalo always has a top rushing attack.
We should put. I do agree. Cleveland deserves the respect.
Thing is, though, here's how I would do it. Actually, I'd go Eagles, Dolphins, Lions, Browns, Bills, and then we can come back to it again. But all right, I like that a little bit better. Next
Colts
team
are really high now that I look at it. The Colts are really high.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor was really good last year. Really underrated season when he was on the field. And it's also partially, I think Anthony Richardson, he brought a whole nother rushing part to the game with Indianapolis when he was there. And Shane Steichen, man, that scheme, the running attack is going to be unreal. I'm really high on that team, at least the running game. Carolina, Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders.
Jonathan Brooks, he's the kid from Texas. What round was he, like second or third?
Yeah, but I don't really know what to expect from those guys, so I don't really like throwing them in yet until
Man, no respect for the rookies, huh? Jefferson was a rookie when he broke out.
Yeah, but we got to see it first. No one was calling the Jefferson Diggs trade a win-win as soon as the trade happened. People were saying Buffalo got.
I'm not talking about trades. I'm talking about rookies.
Yeah, but you got to wait until the kids play a game. People were crowning. I can't tell you the amount of times people were crowning someone in their position top 10, and then they still haven't proved jack shit. So we got to wait and see on the rookies. But for now, the day one will probably be Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard. They were kind of bad last year. They beefed up that O-line to help the rushing attack, but I'd go – this is probably the worst team we've approached on so far. Either D or F, either one.
I would say the Giants would be F. I would put the Panthers over the Giants.
Okay.
Do you want to put Giants in F?
Okay. Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, we need one team in F.
I just think they have way more. Like the Giants just have Devin Singletary, and I mean respect to him, but I just feel like Rashad Penny, Chuba Hubbard. I think Jonathan Brooks is going to be pretty good. Miles Sanders. So I feel like they have a few guys, so at least their depth is a little better. And the Giants O-line, we've been talking about O-line is bad.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge part of their running game. Next team, the Saints. Kamara is still there, but he's kind of just been all right. Okay. He's kind of
trade candidate, maybe? Potential trade candidate?
Yeah, probably. I'd go middle of the pack, low or middle to high C because you still have Kamara. I guess throw some respect on his name, but after
And
that,
Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams is, he's pretty solid.
he was bad last year though compared to the year he had in Detroit, which was another reason why I put the line so high. Jamal Williams, 17 touchdowns with Detroit, leaves. Don't hear his name next year. So I'd go like high C, like if we want.
You want to do high C? That
Or
might be
middle
high.
C. Yeah.
I love
I mean,
Kamara.
the way you were talking up Jamal for a sec, I thought you wanted to go higher.
No,
I can deal with somewhere in the middle, like around the
I
chart.
like Kamara though. I feel like Kamara is, he's just on a bad team.
Yeah, I do love. That's why. Next team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's an interesting team. Just kind of like this is like just a team of guys. I believe is their RB1 the white guy?
Rashad White, yeah, he actually had a pretty good year. I think either last year or 2 years ago.
I think last year he was still decent. I would go because he was solid. You obviously, you just got some players there. I'd go like because of Rashad White alone, like middle C. I don't think they're anything like special, but they're solid.
Yeah, they're not like crazy good.
Yeah. Next team. This is a team that I may be too high on, but our running game wise, I really still do like James Conner. Is on that team.
He's been good for the Cardinals. So
you also have to account Kyler Murray can scramble, give you whatever yards on the rushing game, RPOs, whatever. I'd go like low B. I'm actually kind of high on the Cardinals rushing attack.
I like that. I put the Patriots down because now that I'm looking at these teams.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of C's. Backing up. I do like that though. Next team, the Rams. Kyrell Williams was really good in the games he played last year.
I would put just high B. I think Blake Corum's good.
Blake Corum, the Sean McVay scheme is very running back favorable. So I'd go, around there. I still like Bijan and them. Next team, this is also a team we kind of forgot about. We could argue S because McCaffrey and just the scheme alone with Elijah Mitchell and Kyle Shanahan just cooking up whatever. I'd go. We could do first time in a while. We could do two S's. I don't know though. How do you like them matched up?
I don't mind two S's because one for each conference.
Yeah. All right, let's do it. I love Sam.
I mean, the Niners' run game is comparable to the Ravens. They just don't play.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Fair enough. And then Seattle to end it, you have Kenneth Walker, who's solid. After that, though, it's kind of whatever. I would say like around C-ish. It's fair.
Put him below Arizona. I think Kenneth Walker kind of brings them up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kenneth is solid. See what he does in year 3. All right. With that being said, though, I do like the two S's idea this time, one for each conference.
I don't like the Titans this high.
What?
You think the Titans should drop? I feel like they're too high now. I feel like they kind of belong down here.
Yeah, we could drop them. Tony Pollard didn't look great. Yeah, that's fair enough. All right, make it a little bit more even. But let us know in the comments. What do you agree, disagree with? I think overall it's a solid list. Obviously some question marks, disagreements, but that's the beauty of it and a little bit of projection. So we can always come back to this list in the future, see who was right, see who was wrong. But with that being said, though, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.